Hi everyone, and welcome back to FluentCast. I'm Amanda, and I'm really glad you're here with me today. Let me start with a question. Have you ever wondered why June is Pride Month? Why do people around the world raise rainbow flags, marching parades, and celebrate LGBTQ plus identity during this month? Well, there's a powerful reason. And it all goes back to something that happened in New York City on a warm summer night more than 50 years ago. In just a few days, on June 28th, people around the world will remember that night. It started with fear, it ended with resistance, and it changed everything. Today, we're going to explore the story of the Stonewall Uprising. It's a story of courage, of struggle, and of a fight for dignity. We'll learn where the movement for LGBTQ plus rights began and why it still matters. We'll also talk about how Pride is celebrated now and what challenges LGBTQ plus people continue to face in Latin America, in Europe, and around the world. And before we begin, if you're enjoying FluentCast and want to keep learning with us, don't forget to subscribe. It helps you stay connected and helps more learners find our episodes too. Alright, let's dive in. Let's start by going back to the 60s in the United States. Life for LGBTQ plus people was very different then. Being gay was considered a crime in many places. People could be arrested just for dancing with someone of the same sex or wearing clothing that didn't match traditional gender roles. In many states, it was illegal to serve alcohol to gay people. There were very few safe spaces. A safe space is a place where people can feel accepted, protected, and free to be themselves. For LGBTQ plus people in the 60s, these places were hard to find. One of those places was a small bar in New York City called the Stonewall Inn. It was located in the Greenwich Village neighborhood, which was known for being open and creative. The Stonewall Inn became a gathering place for LGBTQ plus people, especially young people, people of color, and those who didn't feel accepted in other parts of society. Now let's talk about what happened at Stonewall. It was the night of June 28th, 1969. Police came to the Stonewall Inn to do what they often did, a raid. A raid is when the police suddenly enter a place to make arrests, okay? At that time, police often raided gay bars to harass or arrest people just for being there. But on this night, something different happened. People at the Stonewall Inn didn't just leave quietly. They refused to accept this unfair treatment. They fought back. Soon, more people gathered in the streets. The crowd grew, and the protest lasted for several days. This was not a planned event. It was a spontaneous reaction. That means it happened naturally, in the moment. Many of the people who led the fight were marginalized. This word means pushed to the side or treated as less important. Some of the leaders were transgender women of color, people who faced racism, sexism, and transphobia all at the same time. The Stonewall Uprising was not just one night. It was the beginning of a bigger movement. It showed that LGBTQ plus people were ready to fight for their rights. 1 year after the uprising, on June 28, 1970, people in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago organized the first Pride marches. These were not just celebrations. They were acts of courage and resistance. People marched to remember Stonewall and to say, "We are here and we deserve rights." Over time, Pride events grew around the world. Today, you can see parades, festivals, and rainbow flags in cities across the globe. Pride is now a celebration of identity and community. But it is also a time to remember the struggles of the past. Let's stop for a moment to talk about some important words here. Well, first, there is the word uprising, which means a protest or a fight against something that is unfair, okay? Marginalized are the people who are not treated equally in society. Solidarity means support between people who care about the same cause. For example, allies who stand with LGBTQ plus people. Legislation. These are laws created by governments. And as we talked about safe spaces, these are places where people feel protected, welcome, and free to be themselves. All these words help us talk about LGBTQ plus history and rights. Now, let's look beyond the United States. What is the situation like in other parts of the world? In Latin America, there are big differences from country to country. Some countries, like Argentina and Uruguay, have strong laws to protect LGBTQ plus people. Same-sex marriage is legal, and there are protections against discrimination. But in other places like Honduras or El Salvador, violence against LGBTQ plus people is still a serious problem. In some areas, there are no laws to protect people. Many people still face danger just for being who they are. In Europe, we also see a mixed picture. Countries like Spain, the Netherlands, and Germany have made progress in LGBTQ plus rights. But in Hungary, the situation has become more difficult. Let's talk about Hungary for a moment. In recent years, the government in Hungary has passed new legislation that limits what can be said or shown about LGBTQ plus people in schools and in media. For example, there are laws that say schools cannot talk about being gay or transgender with students. Many LGBTQ plus people and their allies say these laws are dangerous. They create fear and they make it harder for young people to learn about themselves or feel safe. This has led to protests and to strong reactions from people across Europe. It shows how important it is to stay aware, speak up, and show solidarity. So, what can we do? First, we can learn. When we understand the past, we can change the future. Knowing what happened at Stonewall helps us see how far the world has come and how far we still need to go. We can also support people in our communities. Maybe that means joining a pride event, reading books, or watching films about LGBTQ plus experiences, or simply being kind to someone who is different. Being an ally means standing with people who are fighting for fairness. It means making space for everyone. Think about your school or your neighborhood. Are there safe spaces for everyone? Is there more you can do to make people feel welcome? Let's remember what we learned today. The Stonewall Uprising happened in 1969 in New York City. It started because people were tired of being treated unfairly. This moment started the modern LGBTQ plus rights movement. 1 year later, people marched to remember the event, and that became the first Pride. Today, Pride events around the world celebrate identity, community, and history. We also learned about challenges today in Latin America, in Europe, and especially in Hungary. These stories show that the fight for equality is not finished. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something new. If you want to keep learning, talk with your friends or classmates about what we discussed. Use the new words you heard. Share your thoughts on social media or send us a message. And if you'd like to practice your English even more, remember that we offer private lessons at Fluent English Academy. We'd love to help you grow your skills in a personal and supportive way. Let's keep practicing English and learning about the world together. Until next time, take care and stay kind.